Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tylearn, and today we're going to be doing a brand new type of what if video, as this is my first Cobra Kai what if. And today we're going to be doing what if Dimitri joined Cobra Kai / what if he actually committed to staying. We are going to be covering everything from Season 1 all the way up to Season 3, and the ending is actually very different from what we got in the original timeline. So there's really no need to add an additional part to this series, and with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Hey, collecting rings like a Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy. Got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yo, bitch coming over. Yeah, we respect.
Okay, so for this scenario to work, I'm going to have Dimitri deciding to go back to Cobra Kai after Johnny Lawrence back in Season 1 humiliated him. He realizes that he was in the wrong and we'll say is contemplating on going back. It is at this moment we see Brooks and Kyler walk upon Dimitri. We'll say this is before he encounters Miguel and he and Miguel are talking and walking down the hall. Brooks and Kyler would intentionally push Dimitri and make him fall. They would proceed to laugh up until Miguel arrives to the scene, and they would quickly escape so, they don't get beat up like how they did last time. Miguel would help Dimitri up, and it is at this moment Dimitri understands that he needs to decide to defend himself and not let other people defend him for him, like he's tired of just being this weakling and he shouldn't give up. And I think Miguel would also tell him this, which would even encourage Dimitri more to stay in Cobra Kai and give it a chance. And I'll say the day Dimitri returns to Cobra Kai is the same day Johnny would proceed to make fun of Eli's lip, and Dimitri would rush to Eli's aid and would call Johnny a bully. It is at this moment we would get Miguel saying to Johnny how he doesn't know how it feels to be a loser, and we get that whole flashback montage with Johnny, and Johnny the next class that happens, we would get Johnny saying how he wasn't the badass sensei he once was. And we get to see Hawk walk through the door along with Dimitri, with Dimitri clearly being supportive of Hawk's decision because he wants to kind of get out of this funk, while Dimitri wants to do the same. Obviously he wants to do it through different means because he's not changing his hairstyle. And so I think Eli and Dimitri would both support each other trying to grow from their nerdy selves, and it is at that point Dimitri and Eli would commit to Cobra Kai. It's safe to say as well, due to the Binary Brothers being in the same dojo, I don't see them falling off anytime soon, and if anything, their friendship would grow even more considering they're always constantly at the dojo and getting over their weaknesses and fears together. This means since Dimitri's at Cobra Kai and he's trying to gain all this confidence, he would eventually attain it, which means during the party when, everyone's vibing and Moon and Hawk get together, I can definitely see Dimitri being a lot smoother with Yasmin, which could potentially lead into them getting together a lot earlier. And if that's the case, this means Yasmin and Aisha would never really have that wedgie encounter, and if anything, Yasmin would just apologize to Aisha due to Dimitri having that goated game. The godly charisma. Anyways, we would still get Sam getting accidentally hit by Miguel and Miguel trying to have a confrontation with Robbie, and the All Valley tournament would obviously occur, with Dimitri actually participating. And instead of seeing Bert on screen, I think we should definitely replace Bert with Dimitri, since Bert is pretty much in the same boat as Dimitri, both nerds, but this time Dimitri is actually a lot more important, so yeah, sorry Bert. And so we get to see Dimitri face off against the guy that was flipping around and basically bodied Bert and the guy that Miguel beat in the second round. But this time it would be Dimitri fighting him. So what's going to go down here? Will Dimitri lose? Well, I'm going to say no. You see, I think Dimitri will do what he did in Miyagi-Do, which was learn to anticipate, but obviously through different means and a way different fashion, because he's in Cobra Kai. But regardless, I think he would learn to anticipate, and when the guy's basically doing his flips around trying to confuse Dimitri, Dimitri would already predict this and would proceed to throw a strike before the man in the black and white uniform can even think to throw an attack out, and he would be knocked out, and Dimitri would proceed to move on to the next round. See, next round we would get Dimitri versus Miguel, which I think would be an interesting match. However, I think here Miguel wouldn't take out his rage or anything, with that Sam and Robbie stuff on Dimitri. But in the end, Miguel is just the stronger fighter and he would defeat Dimitri, with Miguel helping Dimitri back up and both of them saying good fight. The only differences we would get to see next are essentially Dimitri standing with the rest of the dojo and Johnny Lawrence cheering Hawk on and Miguel when they face off against Robbie, and Yasmin would more than likely be there with Moon trying to cheer on, their boyfriends. Yasmin cheering on Dimitri and Moon cheering on Hawk. So with this, season 1 would conclude and we would move on with season 2, where big changes begin to occur. You see, the main escalation for the series mostly happens because of the mall fight and with Dimitri being a bitch, but that wouldn't be the case here. You'll see what I mean when we get to it. But at the moment, we would start our story off with Dimitri and everyone else vibing at the victory party, and Dimitri would be a part of the victory, so no mention of the Binary Brothers would be here, and they're all just kind of chilling with Yasmin being there. Speaking of, Dimitri and Yasmin are doing well along with Moon and Hawk, and they probably go out on double dates. I mean, they're both literally best friends, with Dimitri and Eli being best friends and Moon and Yasmin being best friends. And Yasmin here wouldn't be an asshole, so Yasmin and Moon more than likely stay as best friends. Now, anyways, we would get Dimitri taking part in the cement training with Hawk and Miguel, and Azface and Chris. And I think as Hawk, Aisha, and Miguel, along with the rest of the dojo, kind of make fun of the two, I think Dimitri would make sure they're not gonna leave and tell them that, it's okay since he used to get bullied, but once they grow in this dojo and learn karate, they won't basically feel like this anymore. And really, they're just only getting picked on because they're new. So essentially, Dimitri is keeping comfort for Azface and Chris. So this means Chris and Dimitri, I can definitely see them having that same bond they did at Miyagi-Do, but this time at Cobra Kai. And not to mention, Mitch and Chris themselves are actually, still friends. This would then lead into Dimitri participating in the little festival moment, as he would be a part of the dojo, so obviously he would take part in that. And since he's in Cobra Kai already and has matured since then, this means he never has that encounter with Kreese, which means he never writes the Yelp review, which means the whole mall fight doesn't even happen. Which also means Kreese can't intervene, which also means the Medal of Honor is never stolen, Daniel never goes down to Johnny's dojo. And when Johnny goes to leave to go and have that moment with Tommy and the old Cobra Kai buddies, we would get Kreese trying to intervene with the dojo, but Dimitri and Miguel, I think, would basically hold down the fort to the point to where when Johnny arrives, Kreese wouldn't mind hacks the entire dojo. Hawk is never shown to be a bully, and plus, since Dimitri is already on his side and other people like Miguel, Hawk wouldn't even fall to this bully side of things, which means there's no real way for Kreese to kind of take advantage of the material, since there's no material in the first place, which means Cobra Kai is not getting mind hacks. And so when Johnny arrives and Kreese is teaching them about no mercy and stuff like that, they would remember what Johnny had taught them, not Kreese, except for maybe Tori, but we'll get into that a little later. And this would set up Coyote Creek. And also, by the way, in terms of Kreese being sketchy or whatever and Miguel calling out on his bullshit, I definitely can see Dimitri doing this and Dimitri and Miguel being very sus of Kreese and keeping their distance. Anyways, the Coyote Creek fight would happen, and I'll say Dimitri would be placed on the red team, aka Hawk's team, where we would get Tori and Miguel kind of 2v1ing people and Hawk and Dimitri doing the same. And this would lead into the two duos encountering each other. Hawk and Miguel decide to duke it out similarly to how they did in the canon version of the Coyote Creek events, except for there's no real medal stakes, rather they're just wanting to fight. And as for Tori and Dimitri, they're going to be scrapping with each other as they are both the inferior person to their duo. I can see Tori using her new Cobra Kai techniques she has learned over the past couple of weeks or months or whatever, how much time has passed, and honestly it is impressive. However, Dimitri has been in the dojo longer and has been training with Hawk constantly. And so I'd say by this point, Dimitri would struggle with Tori for sure. He would inevitably be the victor of the battle while Hawk would fall against Miguel. This means Dimitri would have to pick up on Hawk's slack and try and defeat him in honor of Eli, but that's not going to happen since Miguel is just way stronger than Hawk, who's stronger than Dimitri, and Dimitri was struggling with Tori. So Miguel would go on to beat up everyone else in the forest. However, suddenly behind him would be Stingray, who would still steal his headband and would take the W for the red team. Kreese is still kicked out by Johnny, and the next confrontation we really have between Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai is the house party. However, there really isn't that much conflict besides Sam and Tori, really. Robbie dislikes Cobra Kai, however, there's no Medal of Honor being stolen or any of that, so Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do's rivalry doesn't really escalate. However, I definitely can see Sam and Tori still going on with the drinking game. However, Aisha and Sam would never really talk about the Medal of Honor, which never forces Sam out of the conversation to actually talk to Miguel outside in the back, where they would then kiss. None of that would happen because there's no Medal of Honor or really that much conflict to really stir this pot. This means, if anything, Sam would still stay in the same room as Aisha, and when the cops come, Robbie and Sam go to Johnny's. Johnny and Daniel would have their fight still, and Daniel wouldn't want Robbie back in Miyagi-Do ever again. And so this means that Robbie and Johnny are now together, and there's no real school fight happening. Rather, it would be Johnny taking Robbie off to school. Sam would never cheat, so she has nothing to hide from Robbie. And Tori never has this whole school fight happen because there's no reason for it to happen. Sam and Miguel never kiss. So this means Tori and Miguel actually stay together while Robbie and Sam are actually happier than ever. So no Robbie pushing Miguel off the railing, which means no way for Kreese to manipulate his way back into Cobra Kai and manipulate Johnny's students against him. This also means Johnny stays in Cobra Kai, keeps it, and he never, throws out his phone. Probably never goes to prison, and he actually gets to keep Cobra Kai. The only thing I can see really him needing to intervene in is Tori and Sam, and if it escalates, I think Johnny would get in Tori's head, since Johnny is her sensei, along with people like Miguel, which would lead into Tori learning to be the bigger person in the situation, and for her and Sam to be cool, which means Miguel and Tori just live happy ever after along with Robbie. Now, I think at first Robbie and Sam wouldn't be able to date since, Daniel's still mad at Robbie, but after the Okinawa trip, I think he would forgive Robbie, who would be staying at Johnny's, and I think Robbie would also get his position in Miyagi-Do also offered back. However, he would reveal that he's staying in Cobra Kai, which Daniel at first would be hesitant of, but he's not going to hold it against Robbie. And in the end, Johnny and Daniel squash the beef, and both dojos can now just vibe. And also, because Robbie's in Cobra Kai, this means Miguel and Robbie also never escalate, and I think in the end, they would just all be living in a positive ending, and everybody is. And with that being said, this is where we are going to be leaving our what if off for right now. If you guys did enjoy this what if that ended off on a pretty good note and actually very different from what we got in the original story. Honestly, season 3 is significantly different and most of it doesn't even happen. But if you guys did enjoy this what if, and if you guys want more what ifs like this, let me know down below. Be sure to leave this video off with a like, share with your friends, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell. That way you're updated and notified when I upload, and follow me on Twitter. If you guys want more Cobra Kai videos, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.